Good evening, East Alabama, and anyone else that might be watching from around the state. I'm Namath Pitts, and you're watching The Locker Room, presented by Ted's Floors and Beyond. Yesterday, we started our conversation with Eli Gold, where we talked about a couple different coaches that he has broadcasted. We talked about his stance on name, image, and likeness. We talked about just his advice to anyone that says they want to be the next Eli Gold. We talked about what it was that got him into broadcasting. Well, today we're going to go deeper. We're going to go a little bit more personal. We're going to talk about his battle with cancer. We're going to talk about what that moment was like when he woke up and couldn't feel his legs. We're going to talk about what it was like when he overcame that battle with cancer and returned to the booth for the first time. We're going to talk about his relationship with Greg Seitz, the athletic director at Jacksonville State University, and how that's led to his future at Jacksonville State University as the voice of Jacksonville State baseball on ESPN+. We have got a great conversation with Eli Gold that you can only catch right here on East Alabama Now. So we're going to take a break, but when we come back, we're going to be talking with Eli about his battle for cancer and joining him inside his home as we continue on The Locker Room, presented by Ted's Floors and Beyond.
Ted's Floors and Beyond is excited to introduce our all-new outdoor living collection. Have you ever dreamed of elevating or even creating an outdoor living space, whether it be for grilling, lounging, playing, entertaining, or just winding down? Our quality tile and stone, combined with our expert craftsmanship, will no doubt create unforgettable outdoor moments with family and friends, while also enhancing the beauty and value of your home. Call us today.
We live in a world that moves quickly, and while we are able to connect faster than ever through technology, maybe you've noticed that real connection is hard to come by. Parker Memorial Baptist Church offers you a place to connect, a place to learn more about Jesus and the difference He can make in your life, a place to build relationships with like-minded believers, or maybe discover what it means to be a follower of Jesus Christ. A place to use the gifts and talents God has given you. A place where we love God and we love you. Parker Memorial Baptist Church, 1205 Quintard Avenue, Anniston. Visit our website for details.
Ted's Floors and Beyond brings you The Locker Room each and every day. Ted's Floors and Beyond has all your flooring needs, whether it's hardwood, laminate, carpet, tile, luxury vinyl. They have it for you right there at Ted's. You can go by their showroom there in Anniston and you can pick out what you like, want, and need, and they can do that there at Ted's. Also, they've got their partnership with Welborn Cabinet and will offer you a complete kitchen or bath makeover. That includes cabinets, countertops, flooring, backsplashes, tile showers. They can get it done there at Ted's Floors and Beyond, and now they offer you work on your outdoor space, whether it's an outdoor kitchen, patio, or living space. They have specially made outdoor tiles and stones that can enhance your outdoor experience. Go by and see them today at their showroom in Anniston on Highway 431, right before you get to Sachs Elementary School, or visit them online at shopteds.com. That is shopteds.com. Ted's Floors and Beyond brings you The Locker Room. Welcome back into The Locker Room, presented by Ted's Floors and Beyond. I'm Namath Pitts, and it is time to talk with Eli Gold, and we are going to start with, well, probably one of the biggest moments of adversity that Eli Gold has seen in his career. It started one moment when Eli Gold woke up and could not feel his legs. He would turn out to have what we call the C word, cancer. Here's Eli Gold talking about that moment when he realized he had cancer.
Unbelievable. I mean, you talk about scared. I mean, I got up from this very chair the night before, walked over to that door and walked into my bedroom. And I was fine. And what is it, 25 feet from here to there, whatever, I don't know. And the next morning I wake up and my legs don't work. I cannot move. I can't get out of bed. I had to be lifted and carried. The concern, the nervousness, it was unbelievable. So yes, I was terribly scared. Excuse me. And then I had medicine that I was given to make my legs start working again, steroids, basically, which of course made me ineligible for the upcoming Olympics, which is very, very sad. But no, in all seriousness, they gave me all these steroids, and I eventually was taught how to walk again, but what those steroids also did was mask injury or illness or germs that you had in your system. So they were testing me for everything, from cancer to having had a stroke to, I mean, you name it. They tested me for diseases and illnesses that, you know, you just never think of. And nothing showed up. Nothing showed up. And it turned out that the steroids were masking the fact that I did have cancer. But the tests were coming back negative. So it took 7 months for me. I finally had such a bad case of hiccups. I mean, it was terrible. I couldn't even catch my breath. I was hiccuping one after the next after the next. It wasn't even 2 seconds between. I was trying to catch my breath. And the doctor who was brought in to help cure my hiccups found a growth in the area of my esophagus, and that was cancer. But by then, now the cancer had a 7-month head start on me, because we didn't know what the heck we were treating. We were looking at everything, and so I then started an advanced regimen of chemotherapy, which, thank God, cured me. It cured me. Not without lingering effects. I mean, one of the good things is I lost a lot of weight, which I needed to do. I've put some of it back on, but nowhere near all of it. So that's been a good byproduct. But I was just in a terrible state. I didn't want to eat. I couldn't stay awake. I would sleep and sleep and sleep. And that wasn't me, man. I was always on the go, running, going, doing. It was very, very scary. Very, very scary. And of course, I wanted to get back to work at the same time. And I knew that I had already missed one football season, and I wanted to get back to work. And I didn't know if I was going to be able to do that, and so on. So I finally did get back to work for a year before my services were terminated by the University of Alabama. But it was a scary time, man. I can't begin to tell you how scary. And even to this day, I am still sleeping a bit more than I used to. I've gotten much stronger. And thank God, a growth up in your voice box area you would have thought would have messed your voice up, and thank God it didn't for me. But, it's to the point, I'll take a snooze in the afternoon if I have to, or if I have to go to bed at, 8 o'clock. Well, I don't think badly about myself. I just have to do it. And I might sleep till 7 o'clock the next morning. But I have to get my batteries charged, or I'll stay up late and I'll sleep till 11 in the morning. Sometimes you just have to do that, I am finding. It may not be that way for everybody, but I'm not old. I'm 70. I'm older than I was when I was in my 30s, but I'm not old. It's just a matter of, getting stronger. And that I am. I'm able to walk now. When I was in the hospital and I was in a nursing home, I was bad. I was in bad shape. They would have to carry me, lift me with this thing called a Hoyer lift. They would have to lift me out of the bed and pivot me in this lift, this thing, and then drop me in a wheelchair. And then push me to the bathroom, push me into the shower, what have you. And then I, graduated from the wheelchair to a walker, and then a rollator, and then a cane. And, that cane is still sitting there, but, it does more sitting there now than it does helping. But it's there if I need help. But I've gone through a lot. I've gone through a lot. People who have cancer, I never really, I always felt bad for them, but I had no idea what they were going through. And it's not anything pleasant, I guarantee you that.
Yeah, it's a battle that some people don't overcome.
That's right. I was blessed. There were nights where they told my wife and daughter, you may not want to leave the hospital. He may not make it through the night. I was in bad shape. And like I said, I went from a few biscuits shy of 300 pounds to 150, 160, whatever it was, the bottom most number. I lost over a person, and I couldn't move. I just didn't want to eat anything. I couldn't do anything. But thank God the chemo worked, and I've gained some of the weight back now, and my strength is wonderful.
There are so many people every single day that don't overcome the battle with cancer. For Eli Gold, praise God, he was one of those people that did overcome the battle with cancer and was able to return to work, a place that he had died and itched to get back to. Here's Eli Gold talking about that moment when he returned to the booth for the first time.
It was emotional. My first time back to the booth was in the preseason of last year, of the 23 season. It had been 22 months since I had done a broadcast. So I wanted to make sure that I was ready. And, try as you might, and I would talk a lot here at the house. I would do some make-believe play-by-play to myself just to make sure I still recognize what a screen pass was or something. But, I had to do it for real. So we ended up doing closed circuit or just a tape broadcast of the last two Alabama scrimmages. And then, they went all right. They went okay. I was not whipped, emotionally or physically. I was doing fine. The day of the first game, though, was very emotional. My wife and I had a good cry and some kisses and hugs out in the parking lot. And I was having, and ESPN was following me around because they wanted to do a piece in week 2, on the week of the Texas game. I was going to be one of their featured people on College Game Day. And I'd known all those guys. Lee Corso used to be a color man of mine. And, of course, Reese Davis went to Alabama. He knew my story. I'd known Kirk Herbstreit for years. And they just wanted to do a story on Eli coming back. So they followed me all day for that first game. And it was very emotional. It was. I didn't know exactly how I was going to sign on or whatever. I just decided to play it straight. And, thank everybody for their prayers, and here we go. And, and thankfully Bama won. They won big, and, that makes you a better broadcaster. You're always a better broadcaster when the team you're working for wins. I was not nearly as good of a broadcaster the game that followed when we lost to Texas. But, it was just yes, it was very, very emotional because that's what I live for. That's what I do. Ever since I was 15 years old, 15 and a half, I broadcast sporting events. And I couldn't envision not doing it. So, no, it was emotional, but wonderful. It was the best. Those home games that I did last year, in what turned out to be my final season with Bama after 36 years, doing those games turned out to be the best medicine that I had.
We're going to take a break real quick, but when we come back, we're going to continue our conversation with Eli Gold. So don't go away. We'll be right back on The Locker Room, presented by Ted's Floors and Beyond.
Ted's Floors and Beyond is excited to introduce our all-new outdoor living collection. Have you ever dreamed of elevating or even creating an outdoor living space, whether it be for grilling, lounging, playing, entertaining, or just winding down? Our quality tile and stone, combined with our expert craftsmanship, will no doubt create unforgettable outdoor moments with family and friends, while also enhancing the beauty and value of your home. Call us today.
Since 1993, WM Grocery has been a major part of our local community. WM offers the very best in fresh produce and an outstanding meat department. WM also has many local products not found anywhere else and fresh sushi every day. If you need an event catered, come see Mrs. K at any WM store. Curbside pickup is also available for your online grocery orders. Be sure to download the WM app for all the deals of the week and shopper rewards. Go check them out today at any of their locations.
We take pride in our community and appreciate your business.
For metal buildings in Alabama and the Southeast, Waldrop Manufacturing is your one-stop source. A Waldrop metal building provides the coverage and protection your investments need. They specialize in carports, RV covers, portable buildings, and storage buildings. Stop paying rent for storage. With Waldrop's price per foot, you can actually save money by buying straight from the manufacturer. Waldrop buildings are guaranteed because Waldrop manufactures buildings with U.S. steel right here in Calhoun County. Waldrop Manufacturing, serving the entire Southeast. Give them a call today. For over 60 years, Oxford Lumber has been servicing our area, and our customer service has always been our main focus. Our customer service is what sets us apart from anyone else. From the moment you enter, our highly trained staff will treat you like family.
To enthusiastically provide total customer satisfaction within a positive and self-fulfilling employee relations environment. Visit us at any of our 4 locations or at oxfordlumber.com.
We continue on the locker room presented by Ted's Floors and Beyond. I'm Namath Pitts. We pick back up on our conversation with Eli Gold. Eli Gold was let go by the University of Alabama. And with that, as one door closes, another door opens. It wasn't even 2 hours when Eli Gold's phone rang and a new opportunity was presented. So his future is with the Gamecocks of Jacksonville State University. So here's Eli Gold talking about as one door closes, another door opens. Eli, as one door closes, another door opens. Jacksonville State University. So when Alabama dismissed you, you first accepted a job with the Nashville Cats, arena football. But then there were some rumors that you would be, starting with a university. I don't think anyone expected that university to be in the state of Alabama.
Well, I really didn't let on at all. And, this whole thing goes back a ways. I'm very, very friendly and have been for decades with Greg Seitz, the athletic director at Jacksonville State. He was a friend and still has and is a friend. And I had called him as I pretty well understood that I was not going to be brought back by Alabama. I called him, and not to take any job at JSU at that point, because I respect Mike Parrish. I've known Mike for years, the 40-year voice of the Gamecocks, and I was not going to spin him out of his job. Not that I could have, but I would never, ever do that, especially not to an acquaintance, to a friend. But I did want to talk to Greg because he knows everybody. Greg Seitz knows everyone. It's amazing. There's nobody out there he doesn't know. And I called him to say, hey, if you hear of a job anywhere that's not in Maine or Washington State or New Mexico, because I wasn't going to move like that. But I said, if you hear of something, throw my name in the hat. Let people know that I'm interested, because I'm not retiring. I am healthy. I still have my eyesight. I can do a good job for someone. I just got to find a job. And he said, oh, definitely, we'll keep your name out there, and so on and so forth. Then Alabama cuts me loose, and it wasn't 2 hours later that Greg is on the phone with me and saying, how you doing? Checking on me. I said, I'm fine. I said, I'm going to start looking for work. He said, I may know of some place that'll have some work for you. I said, oh, really? He goes, yeah, right here at JSU. He said, you know, we've stepped up to Conference USA, which obviously I knew, and there are requirements in bigger conferences, no different than the SEC, where you have to televise all of your home events. You've got to televise every home baseball game, basketball game, women's basketball game, football, anything that's not on bigger television, CBS or ABC or whatever. You've got to originate that telecast. That's part of your charter to join a conference. And he said, we could use some help. We have so many events, we may need some help. I said, call me, man. I said, I'm, an hour and 20 minutes away, and I'll jump at it. And he said, are you serious? He said, now you remember, we're Power 5. We're not, he said, we're Group of 5, not a Power 5 school. He said, it won't be quite what you're used to. I said, don't worry about it. I said, that's for me to decide. And I said, I want to work. I said, now don't think you're going to get me for nothing here. And we had a good laugh. But, he was very fair to me, and I was fair to him, and that's it. And I start here this week. I start tomorrow. My first baseball game is the game that they added against UAB tomorrow, as you and I talk here today. So it worked out wonderfully. And then a week later, that would be this past week, I went up to JSU, and I'm embarrassed to say that in my 40 years here in the state of Alabama, I had never been to Jacksonville State University. I had done games against the Gamecocks in Tuscaloosa, basketball, baseball, what have you. I had never been to Jacksonville. I hadn't even gone up to eat ribs at Cooter Brown. I mean, I had never been there. And so I went up, my wife and I went up over the weekend and watched the Iowa series in baseball. And I mean, I knew Coach Case. I had met him in those instances when I had done Alabama versus Jacksonville in Tuscaloosa. So I knew the people. I knew Josh Underwood, the media relations director. I've known a lot of the people. I've talked to President Killingsworth. I mean, I'd never been there. So we went up this weekend, and I was treated so magnificently well. The fans were so nice. The board of trustee members were so wonderful, let alone, Randy Owen, who I sat with and talked to for hours on the weekend. I tried to convince him that I could sing backup for the group Alabama, but he didn't bite on that. But no, I mean, these people were just so happy, and they couldn't stop thanking me for coming to work for them. And I said, no, you guys got it backwards, man. I'm thanking you for giving me this opportunity. And they said, opportunity? He said, you've done 36, you've done every sport, you've done Major League, NFL, you've done it all. I said, but I needed a home, and you guys have provided me with a home. And it was a wonderful weekend. And like I said, I start tomorrow because their guy is leaving, not their radio guy, but the guy who had done their TV work has taken another job. And so I wasn't spinning anybody out of a position. This guy left, and it really left them in a lurch because they have to do all of these telecasts. So, we've agreed to privately that it's going to be a long-term deal. How long, I don't know, and how much I'm going to do, I don't know. But I know there will be a lot of work in basketball, and there'll be work in football, and there'll be work for the #1 bowling team in the country. There'll be, all sorts, soccer, volleyball. I've done it all in that regard, so I'm ready to step in and be part of the JSU family.
But to clarify, this is not going to affect Mike Paris at all. it's strictly the TV right now?
Absolutely not. The only time you might hear me on radio is if there's a conflict. If Mike has a conflict between baseball on radio and basketball on radio. If there's a conflict like that where both teams are playing, I might end up doing one radio show and he would do the other. But no, he is the radio voice of JSU and will stay there as long as he wants. I am not taking his job. Mike's a good friend, a dear friend, and I would never, not that they have, and they don't want to replace him. I mean, he's a fan favorite, but even if they were thinking of replacing him, I wasn't going to allow that. I'm not taking anybody's job.
Eli, you said you just visited Jacksonville State for the first time. Jacksonville State is growing. The city of Jacksonville is growing. Calhoun County as a whole is growing. Would you just kind of talk about your thoughts on Jacksonville State, talk about your thoughts on Calhoun County as a whole?
Well, I really didn't know. I knew what Jacksonville State was about. I was thrilled when they won their bowl game this past, moving up as they have, and now they're, and they're in a bowl game and they win. I was thrilled for them and for Coach Rich Rod, who I've known for the years. Rich Rodriguez, I've known him a while. I was thrilled for them, and it was just nice to see. I mean, Saturday we went up there just to look around. My wife and I, we had to make a stop, and then we went up to Jacksonville. I was about 20 miles away, so I said, let's go to Jacksonville, and we did. We looked around, and we, checked out this building and that building. I didn't know where anything was. So we rode around and looked at the Coliseum and looked at the stadium and looked at the soccer field, everything. And it was just very impressive, very, very impressive. And I met a lot of people, a lot of fans. I'd get out of the car and whatever. Are you Eli Gold? I said, yeah. He goes, man, we're thrilled that you're coming to work for JSU. And that has been so special. The Bama fans were like that. The Bama fans were like that. But then I started meeting JSU's Board of Trustees, and I knew the athletic director, and I met the president, and this after we had talked on the phone previously, and I just felt so at home. And so, it's a great area, and, I've spoken in Calhoun County many, many times. I've spoken in all the counties in the state of Alabama over the years. So it's a very, very special feeling to be going there and to be welcomed as I have been.
And that's going to do it for us today on The Locker Room. That's going to do it for our Part 2 interview with Eli Gold. But hey, you can come back here tomorrow on our East Alabama Now page, and you can catch the whole interview exclusively one-on-one, me and Eli Gold inside his home. I want to remind you to hit that like and follow button on our East Alabama Now page. And please, please, please share the interview tomorrow. I hope you all have a great weekend. God bless. I'll see you back here Monday on The Locker Room presented by Ted's Floors and Beyond.